To you, Sudhanshu Trivedi first. This battle, Smriti Irani versus Sonia Gandhi, is this an attempt to distract from the real issues? This country has far bigger issues, Sudhanshu ji, price rise, GST, Chinese encroachments, falling rupees. None of it has been debated in your parliament. But Sonia Gandhi apology jo do, ya BJP maafi mango. That's what's going on.
Rajiv ji, you have raised a very valid point. The points which you have mentioned, whether it is the GST or the inflation or the unemployment, which they consider the reason is because of our government, though despite the fact this is a global phenomenon, okay. But on how many issues you have seen the Congress leaders doing demonstration on the road? On any of these issues, have you ever find all the Congress chief ministers in Delhi? No. They were there to protest when the ED has called for interrogation to Rahul Gandhi. For 3 days, Congress chief ministers were there here. All Congress MPs were here. Day before yesterday, when Parliamentary Affairs Minister has called that, yes, we are ready to find an amicable solution and we are ready to even request the chairperson to withdraw the suspension. But is there any guarantee that the opposition MPs will not create any untoward scene? Then several parties committed, but Congress leaders were not there because they were there in the demonstration about Sonia Gandhi's ED. So let me know when they have done demonstration on this. And rather than the day before yesterday in the press conference of Ashok Gehlot ji, what he has said, एक साल पहले हमने जयपुर में महंगाई को लेकर बड़ा कार्यक्रम किया था. And Rajiv, do you remember? In that rally for महंगाई in Jaipur, Congress leaders mentioned UP, and Rahul Gandhi has for 10 minutes given elaborate description of Hindu versus Hindutva on a rally on price rise in Jaipur. So now you can easily conclude that who is diverting and which issue is having the real core mindset of the opposition and which is just a fig leaf cover.
Okay, let Supriya Srinath respond to what you're saying. You're claiming that the opposition also wants to simply stage protests outside Parliament on issues like the Enforcement Directorate questioning Sonia Gandhi. Supriya Srinath, you heard Sudhanshu Trivedi. You want to respond to that? That don't blame the government only for distracting from the real issues. You've been protesting over Sonia Gandhi's ED questioning when you could also only focus on price rise.
I'm actually appalled, and more than appalled, I'm shocked with what Sudhanshu ji has just said. Instead of accepting that the most burning and the most relevant issue of our times is price rise, he's actually diverting the issue to what the opposition is doing on the streets. Mr. Trivedi, people are reeling under high prices, especially at a time when joblessness is at a huge peak, wages have gone down. You are saddling people with price rise even on food items. And instead of accepting and finding a solution, you want to blame us what we do in our rallies and what we do on roads. I mean, this is brazenness of different kind. But because the show is on what happened in Parliament, I do want to talk about that. Because it's important as a woman that I speak about these things. Smriti Irani puts up a very spirited defense in the name of India's president, who's India's first citizen. She keeps calling the president's name, which is unparliamentary if you ask me. And after that, she has the audacity and the disgrace to actually walk up and try and heckle and physically intimidate the Congress president, the person who remained UPA chairperson for 10 years and who's a 5-time elected MP. She has as much right to be in that house and to question perhaps a little more than you do.
But Smriti Irani also has the right to question Sonia Gandhi. When you say audacity to question Sonia Gandhi, she has the right also.
I am not saying for a minute she does not. No. Let me finish, Rajdeep. You offered him the courtesy, offer me the same courtesy.
Yes.
I really request you, because this is an important issue. It's also about physical heckling of a woman. She physically heckles, they physically intimidate, she tries to heckle, and we are not saying this. There are others across party lines who have witnessed this, people who have come on record to say what happened in Parliament today. If you ask me, it was perhaps the lowest our democracy can stoop to where the leader of an opposition party is heckled by members of the treasury benches. And what was in this name of? This was in the name of a woman president. I want to ask Smriti Irani only 2 questions this evening. She is very close to a gentleman who goes by the name of Ankit Jain, and I have just tweeted. She has posted pictures with him. They are in conversation all the time on Twitter. That man called President Pratibha Patil Rashtrapatni. Why did we not see Smriti Irani rise up and defend the president as much as she defended and created theatrics? I also want to talk about women, because as a woman it's my responsibility to first talk about the dignity and grace of women. Anybody who knows Sonia Gandhi now in public life for close to over 4 decades knows the grace and dignity with which she carries herself. Anybody will tell you she would never stoop to the level that Smriti Irani can. But 40 seconds is all that I ask you to play a soundbite, because we are talking about the respect and dignity of women. I do hope that you will indulge me.
Ma'am.
Sorry, just give me a minute. I want to play this bite. It's important.
No, you are referring to Narendra Modi calling the late Sunanda Tharoor a 50 crore girlfriend. You are referring to what he said during the 2014 election campaign. Ma'am, you don't need to play that. We've heard it before. We've heard it before, ma'am. We've heard it.
To play that, I'll tell you why. Because people of this country need to know. 1 second. I need to play that because people of this country know. I can understand a slip of tongue by the Prime Minister when he said Beti Bachao, Beti Patao. I give him the benefit of doubt. I never raised a question. But on this, I will raise a question because he stands in a public rally, calls a wife 50 crore ki girlfriend, calls the Congress president Congress ki vidwa, calls the member of parliament Renuka Chaudhary Shupnakha, the kind of things his MPs, his ministers have said on women. He should first apologize to this country.
Okay.
I also want to know, the BJP vice president in Meghalaya has been found to be running a brothel. Is there an explanation that has come from the BJP?
Okay.
I want to ask this question. It makes me angry. We talk about the dignity of women. We should talk about every woman on this country.
Okay.
Adhiranjan Chaudhary had a slip of tongue. I am glad he had apologized. If he had not, I would never defend him. But
okay,
because he has apologized, he apologized a long time back. He said it was...
Ma'am, now you are taking over the show. Now I think, ma'am, you made your point. You made your point. You made it strongly. Sudhanshu Trivedi. No, Sudhanshu.
I'm not taking over the show.
Okay.
I am only responding to cheap theatrics. I don't think Parliament is a place for cheap theatrics and heckling of parliamentarians.
Okay.
What happened with Mrs. Gandhi yesterday has been condemned by the entire opposition. And I think Sudhanshu Trivedi, as a member of that august house, which is called the upper house, should condemn it.